And one of the aspects which is coming there is that foreigners are now collecting medicines in South Africa, sending medicines back home. Now, this is actually undermining the efficiency and efficacy of the state.
Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon once again. Welcome to South Africa Lately, a channel that discusses South African trending news. We do, however, grab here and there from international news when it is trending enough to be brought here. Please do understand that I'm not a politician. I do not have deep knowledge in politics. However, I am a South African citizen who's also a voter, and I do believe that my views count when it comes to political affairs of our super gorgeous country. You know, I've reached a conclusion that South Africa is being abused, firstly, by our corrupt politicians, together with the entire continent, followed by the entire world, because there is absolutely no way. South Africans have been chained and their mouths sealed for a longest time in the name of xenophobia, hiding behind xenophobia. But now our country is deteriorating, and I blame mostly our leaders, followed by the people that are taking advantage of the corrupt system that we see in South Africa. But most importantly, our leaders, who seem to have lost control totally. I don't want to jump the gun and say President Cyril Ramaphosa is a corrupt president, or maybe is not a good president, because I believe they ran this country as a collective from the inception of democracy in South Africa in 1994. Where we are today is a result of protecting the collective. Anyway, we see that things that we see. You're allowed to share your own views in the comment section. I just want to read this to you and then come back with the video and share more commentary after you have seen the video. I want to start with reading the post by Newsroom Africa, and they shared a video as well, which I'm going to share with you. People are starting to bring in foreign concepts inside our country, and these are foreigners. Former SANDF General Maomela Motau warns of the national security threats posed by foreign nationals allowed to meddle in how the country is run. They highlight the recent rejection of the Islamic State of Africa Party by the IEC. Now, let me share the video with you, and then I'll be back with more commentary, because this is a serious issue. South Africa is being abused, and that is the truth. But you are allowed to share your own views in the comment section to differ with my own, because what I'm saying cannot be the gospel truth. Anyway, let me share the video clip with you. I'll see you after you have seen that video clip, so we share more. I share more of my views with you.
Let me start by the porous borders. I think it is a serious problem. It's a serious challenge, which I think is not being taken very seriously as I look at things. You have in recent times found that the police were challenged by armed foreigners, Pakistanis in Foxburg. You know that the military and the police were being pelted by stones by foreigners crossing the borders around Beitbridge. These are serious matters. And when they come inside the country, of late you have found our people battling for medical treatment because the hospitals are full of foreigners. You know, you have seen it in Soweto now, the ordinary people stopping foreigners coming in there. And that's one serious issue. And one of the aspects which is coming there is that foreigners are now collecting medicines in South Africa, sending medicines back home. Now, this is actually undermining the efficiency and efficacy of the state. When we talk about service delivery, we are talking about our people not getting access to medical services because clinics, hospitals don't have medicines. This is a serious challenge which we need to look at. Now, when you look at the international situation today, you'll realize that South Africa has always been a bridge to the continent. Now, having been a bridge to the continent, South Africa therefore must understand it will be on the forefront of fighting to defend Africa and to make sure that Africa has got space to determine its own policies and or whatever the continent is struggling with. So that is one problem South Africa faces. And we are going to have to understand that you are going to have situations of the Americans putting pressure on us, Western countries putting pressure on us. That we should always understand. And I think our security system must basically also focus on those two aspects as the major issues as far as I'm concerned. Those are serious issues. They have got to do with our economy. They have got to do with the security of the state itself.
Yeah, actually, I found the passage in the security strategy. It says that the other concerning challenge is the lack of monitoring and uncontrolled movement of refugees and asylum seekers, exacerbating threats to security. It can trigger situations that could lead to public violence and act of terror because of competition for resources.
Definitely. Acts of terror, you know, when you start allowing people to come into your country and start meddling into how the country is run. I've just looked at a situation now where people wanted to register a party which must fight for an Islamic state in our country. While they are aware what our constitution says about our religious attitudes to the states must have towards religion, I mean, but people are starting to bring in foreign concepts inside our country. And these are not South Africans, these are foreigners who are in our country today. You have foreigners today who would like to have certain areas of our country to be solely be either Nigerian, Ethiopian, or Pakistani. I mean, the latest is when you have, I think in Carltonville, where our people were saying they are being chased out by Pakistanis not to do business there. We are not, we are going to be labeled xenophobic when we do that, but when all other people in the world do that, I was looking at what is happening in Britain. What is happening in the United States? Donald Trump himself trying to stop Mexicans, but they are not being labeled xenophobic. Only South Africans will be stopped because it is in the interest of certain powers for South Africa to become unstable. It's in the interest.
Actually, the security strategy does speak about illegal migrants creating no-go areas for South Africans. But just quickly in conclusion, now speaking about the USA, yesterday there was a flight that landed in Eswatini, and of course Eswatini being part of SADC. Some people are saying that this could be a potential risk to the region, having so-called unwanted criminals being deported from the USA to an African state, in this case SADC. Do you believe that there is a potential risk at all? Would this possibly have been something that is discussed within SADC?
No, not necessarily in SADC, but obviously SADC must be interested. But I think Swaziland shouldn't have taken that decision without actually engaging South Africa. They are an independent state, but South Africa is the most critical neighbor Swaziland has. You know, it might call for South Africa. That action might call for South Africa to tighten its control of who comes in from Swaziland, which is not going to be very good for our two countries. So I want to believe that that was an unfortunate thing for Eswatini to do in these circumstances. It is clearly not going to be correct also for Lesotho to do that, because we are very close neighbors, or they are a part of our geographical arrangement. So for them to decide independently to bring in people who are not even Amaswat to come in and be hosted in Swaziland, it is really unfortunate. And I think South African government must must actually take this thing seriously and engage the Swazi government so that we do not have such a repetition in future.
All right. Thank you so much, Rita. Maomela Motau, retired South African National Defence Force General there. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Yeah, you know, if you are a South African and you love South Africa, we have to be upset. Everybody is talking about porous borders, but nothing seems to be happening. And when you look at it, even the current minister is failing to address those issues. Why are we not addressing the porous borders accordingly? Because this open border is currently not working. We don't have the systems in this continent that supports that. Even South Africans get deported from African countries. We just have this entire thing. We love our foreign nationals, but at the end of the day, you got to come to the country in the right way. If you're a visitor, remember to go back home. If you came here because of your special skills, we appreciate you come the right way. So this thing of opening the borders like that, we have people coming out of trucks through the airport, through the harbor, everywhere. It's just not correct. There are things that are happening to South Africa. I'm even questioning, how are we supposed to handle the security as the G20 is coming? I just feel like we are warming up to a bigger disaster that is coming in this country. Like, I don't know. I don't know why are we the only ones as the citizens of South Africa that feel the urge to do something about this, that are stressed about this, while our leaders, you know, there's this thing that they normally say, trying to be, I don't know what is the end goal. You know, Mr. Maomela Motau there, he said this because it suits the powers that be that we don't know, that are benefiting from the chaos that is happening in South Africa. It is so sad. And I hate to say this. The whole corruption that we see, it makes a white man look so good. It makes the apartheid era the better option when you hear South Africans saying apartheid was better because we were working, the country was a bit safe, you just had to mind where you step, which was also not good. But when you look at where we are today, what is the point of having the democracy that we are supposed to celebrate when the democracy comes with so many risks? Because now we are not benefiting the way we are supposed to benefit. I don't know what is the end goal by the powers that be by allowing this chaos to go on for such a long time. As I'm telling you right now, it's not safe to go anywhere. As kids, we grew up, you could be sent from one village, as people who grew up in the village, you could be sent from one area to another and your parents wouldn't worry about you. They know that you are coming back. Do you understand? But today, it's difficult. You know, when I'm in my own village, I don't really relax, because of the things that now happen in our villages that involve the people that are not supposed to be there. Your Pakistani, your Ethiopians, you don't really sleep very well. And the people from Lesotho and whatnot, those are our neighbors. We are not supposed to be doing each other these horrendous things. Lesotho, Swaziland, Zimbabwe, and all. We're supposed to be living harmoniously because we are connected to each one another like that. But when I go home, because the police station that is there is so far. Basically, when you are in the village, you have yourselves to protect. You protect yourselves. You don't have any other thing that is protecting you. Now that place also is getting affected, and security seriously lacks in the villages, you don't sleep very well. You don't sleep very well. In your own village where you grew up, you can't really sleep very well. Is this the country that our own leaders, when they look at themselves in the mirror, when they see the news, they pat themselves at the back that, yeah, we are doing good. We are proud of ourselves. And don't be surprised that in the future, we will see Gayton McKenzie as the president of this country, because he's been consistent. I'm not ruling out Herman Mashaba. He can too, because South Africans now are looking at some people, the leaders that will put South Africans first, that will show love to South Africans. Recently, showing love to South Africans is like a crime now. It's like it's something that is a taboo, is not supposed to happen. Why is it happening? Why are you putting South Africans first? Yet other people in their own countries within this continent are being put first, and they are not scared to put their laws there, that this is how we do things around here, and we will deport you. We had to have cases when your Yvonne Chaka Chaka were deported. Recently, Zimbabwe did not want to treat a South African person who was sick in Zimbabwe. He was even brought he had to be fetched by the Department of Health of South Africa. And number 2, they deported South Africa, arrested and deported South Africans in Zimbabwe right here. All I'm saying is that we love one another in this continent, but let us not be the continent that disregards the law. It is not helping us. It is not helping us. So I'm saying this to say South Africa is abused. South Africa is heavily abused by the invisible system that has been set that we don't know of. We're just seeing the results. It is not. South Africans are frustrated. And there is no way this is going to change because, guys, And having said that, I would like to appreciate the foreign nationals that are in who are in South Africa legally, who have gone through proper channels to be in South Africa, who respected our laws, who contribute positively to our country, because we can never be an isolated country. We need one another, but respect the laws. And South Africa cannot continue being abused. The chaos that we see today in South Africa is an indictment to our own black leaders. I am telling you now, this looks downright bad. And the next coming elections, the parties that people will choose from, the chances are, will be Patriotic Alliance, Action SA, and the Democratic Alliance. I'll tell you why the people will choose the Democratic Alliance, because South Africans are at a point whereby they see a white man as the better option than our own black leaders. I'm telling you, you need to talk to the people in your own community. They will tell you that during when white people were leading, things were better. It's a shame. And the corruption and the lack of doing the work very well that they are supposed to be doing, the incompetence and all of that, it cascades down to us in the places that we go to, trying to get our lives in order. You come through that door, you have to prove yourself 10 times more, because the sample is bad. Sample from the top is bad. Our own leaders, they seem like they don't have the ability to do anything right. And when I'm saying our leaders, I'm talking about the entire thing. Look now, we're talking about changing South Africa to Azania. Do you think that is cheap? Is that a priority? Is it cheap? Is it cheap? We have your Swaziland, our neighbors now, bringing people from the US, knowing the free movement that is there between South Africa and Swaziland. And those people can easily be in South Africa. Security risk. And that is Africa for you. That is Africa for you. That was supposed to be communicated through SADC, and everybody agrees that, okay, you can bring these people. African leaders, always selfish, because you cannot tell me that that is not selfishness that was done by Swaziland. It's selfishness, and it involves money. I guess. Whatever your views are, kindly share them in the comment section. I'm upset as a South African because South Africa is being abused, firstly by our own leaders, followed by all the other countries that are taking advantage of the weak and corrupt systems that we have in South Africa. I'm looking forward to reading your comments in the comment section. And to those who are watching my ads in full, I would like to say, guys, and to those who are, perhaps who have time and you are on Wi-Fi, kindly watch my ads in full, because that support really goes a long way. Enjoy your afternoon.